Confederacy of dunks. Toronto Raptors. Scotty B. We the North, baby.
Yes. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks basketball podcast. I'm your host, Freddie Rivas, here on Raptors Republic with Andy Hull, a host and producer, and one of my favorite comedians and just people in general who right off the bat is just like lunch punch to my jaw. If you're watching on YouTube, his name is Arthur Simeon, but also Thomas is the best Rivas is just written attached to his name. So that's a low blow, and I'm down for the count. Arthur, what's up?
I don't know if it's a low blow. It's just I just like to speak facts everywhere I go, you know?
Well,
that's how I like to start, you know?
No, what's crazy is
thanks for having me, buddy.
Oh man, anytime. But I was gonna say what's crazy is I'll take it out on Thomas because I'm a coward.
Yeah.
So.
That's fair. And that's how it should be, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man. Thanks for doing it. Like it's
because he doesn't have a podcast, so he can't.
Yeah, he doesn't have a platform, you know.
Yeah, he doesn't. He won't. Who is he going to complain to? Himself?
That's right. Yeah. I guess himself, me.
Yeah.
But dude, it's been a long time.
It's been a while.
I
think it's been at least 4 or 5 years since I've been back.
Wow.
I don't know what I said the last time that got me banned.
Yeah, I think it was Thomas is the best Rivas. So you're banned for 10 years, dude.
You know what? That's even crazy because I don't even think that's possible because I don't think I had met Thomas yet. That's how long it's been. But I thought I did a pretty good job, and then I waited for that call, and it just never happened.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to wait 10 more years.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna put everything out today because I don't know when I'll be back. So I'm just gonna put all the opinions.
Just get
possible topics you're gonna cover in the next 3 years. I'm gonna try and get
in the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's. It's summertime. So this is like the NBA doldrums, right?
Right.
I thought this would be a fun one. So NBA Jam. A lot of people know it. Arthur, I'm not sure how, if you know NBA Jam too much, but basically it's 2-on-2.
Yeah.
It's full arcade game.
Yeah.
It's very unrealistic basketball. There's pushing, there's shoving.
Yeah.
People get hot from three. It's really hard to block people for whatever reason. And if someone gets hot, like the ball can actually turn into flames.
Yeah.
So
he's on fire.
Yeah, exactly. There's the commentator saying that and other things. He's heating up. Yeah. Are they all like fire related?
No. Boom, shakalaka.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's kind of like a bomb though.
There's a bunch of different ones.
Is there like he's ice cold?
I don't think so.
No.
Although that should be in there too. That'll be funny.
Right?
Yeah,
he's ice cold.
Actually thinking one of the later, like really later NBA jams, you could like do the opposite of going on fire. Like if you miss 3 in a row, your basketball turns into ice.
Oh, that's cool.
That's funny.
Sub-Zero.
Yeah. Sub-Zero. You could be Sub-Zero in an NBA Jam game.
Yeah.
Though. That's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Okay, so with that in mind, I thought it'd be fun to think of and choose the best NBA duo with these surreal dimensions in mind. So I don't know who wants to kick this off. I think Arthur, yeah.
I will have to ask, are we talking about the duos that exist right now, or can I make up my own duo? Because I have answers for both, and I just want to make sure.
Duos that exist right now is what I'm looking for.
Okay, duos that exist right now on the same team.
Yeah.
Who am I picking?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with the Bucks.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Dame and Giannis.
That's basically, so I have like a couple picks, but that's like I was tied between 2 picks.
That's probably the actual best.
It's got to be, right?
Current combo, yeah.
Because
I can't think of anyone, because again, I don't know much about, I haven't played a lot of NBA Jam, but like as you explain, I'm like, I'm familiar with all of these concepts. He's on fire, like all that stuff, like, and I've known about. But what I did know about NBA Jam is that shooting is a big thing.
Yes.
Right? So it's like Dame, streaky shooter, but when he gets hot, that's That's going to be game over. And if you can't block people, you can't stop Giannis.
That's right. And you can push people. And
Exactly,
so
you can push people. Yeah,
if it's like full on, you can push people.
You want
You know,
strength. You need
Yeah.
some strength
Giannis
from your
is
big
fast too.
he's
So
fast,
it's like,
he's strong.
yeah.
So for me, that would be the duo that I would pick, and then I would dare you to try and beat me.
I have one other one, but that I think, yeah, that might be the winner. But Andy, you said you had a rabbit hole to go.
Okay, well, I'm a big NBA Jam guy. I
Okay.
was from the second it came out. I had the arcade version, like literally the arcade machine, in my house when it wasn't mine; it was my roommate's. But we had like an arcade machine with it on
Right.
it, so we played a ton of NBA Jam. Specifically the tournament edition, which is basically NBA Jam 2, which is like the updated rosters.
Okay.
So first of all, the rabbit hole that I'm going to sort of enter a little bit is I'm convinced that NBA Jam is the precursor to the modern NBA. The modern NBA is all about 3 points, right? We learn the analytics, we learn like the high percentage shots, the best efficiency. That's obviously the big thing, right? Well, in NBA Jam, when you're a kid, you're playing it and you're just going for those huge dunks. You're just going for massive, big, you're getting it to Larry Johnson and you're doing crazy. You're getting it to Ewing and you're doing the big slam. But that's actually not the best way to play NBA Jam. The best way to play NBA Jam, and like the trick that you learn pretty quickly, it's not like it's some advanced technique or anything, but you go for the huge dunk. While you're in the air, you dish it to your guy on the perimeter, and he hits a huge three. So you got to have a big dunker and then a big 3-point shooter. And the best teams in, the original and in those tournament editions is just that. You got to have that difference, because you got to have a guy who does the big crazy dunk, because that gives you so much more time for the defenders to collapse in and try and block you.
I really underestimated how deep this rabbit hole was.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
This isn't. I didn't even like research anything. This is just my own brain. This is just my own thoughts over the years. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it makes for some like weird and good and fun combos, because there's actually way more teams that are actually good in NBA Jam than you think there are. One of my favorites is the Charlotte Hornets, because you've got Larry Johnson and you've got Alonzo Mourning, and then you also have Muggsy as your third guy. And Larry Johnson, again, another ahead of his time guy, big man, obviously. But he can hit that three, and that's so key, because once you start doing the dish out, like everyone knows it's coming, and then they adjust. But if you're Larry Johnson, then you can run out and dish it back, and then you're ahead of the game. So my favorite team was Charlotte. That is not going to be my favorite team in this question.
Because who is it? LaMelo Ball and.
Well, I mean, I think the easy answer is Jokic and the Nuggets. You get Murray, you get Gordon, and you get Jokic probably, and those are your guys. And I think that's a really well balanced, hit from three. But don't underestimate the Miami Heat. Don't underestimate Bam and Jimmy. I think they would actually have from strength wise. I think
they'd be good at pushing.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
A lot of pushing.
Yeah,
they'd be good at the violence. I just don't know who's. I don't think Jimmy's a more reliable 3-point shooter than.
No, he's not. But
I would think Jamal Murray is.
They're a fun. That's a fun team to be.
Yeah.
Because you also need that team to pick an NBA Jam too. Everyone would always pick, like, who was like there was one go-to team everyone would always pick. Maybe it was the Bulls, I don't know. But Jordan wasn't in the game, so it probably wasn't that. I can't remember. But there's one team. Stockton Malone. It's the Jazz. Everybody always would pick the Jazz because of that 1-2 punch. But you gotta have a fun team stashed away. That's like your signature team. So I'd pick something fun like the Heat. Get all pushes.
That's good. That's good stuff. So okay,
all I know is that so far I'm winning.
You're winning.
You put Bam and Jimmy against Giannis and Dame, I'm winning on that.
But you're not winning against Jokic and Murray. No way, not a chance. Not in video games.
But Jokic might be. I mean, he'd be good at pushing, but he'd be slow. He'd be slow in NBA.
Doesn't really matter. You're bringing it up with Murray, and then you get it over to him. Then you do the.
Didn't you say you need one dunker? Who's the dunker on your team if you have Jokic and Murray?
Yeah, because you can't really back down. You can't post up.
No, but they translate that to dunks. That's part of the dunk metric.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
I'm laughing. I actually fully believe
Yeah.
you, but you just answered that so calmly. That's part of the dunk metric.
It's gotta be. It
That
has to be.
I feel ashamed that you've been on this podcast for me with me for a long time now, and I haven't brought up, like, I haven't let you, like, I haven't let you cook.
On NBA
Yeah,
Jam.
on
Like, you know what I
NBA
mean?
Jam.
And I feel bad. Like,
You were waiting for me to get here.
yeah,
We need
Yeah.
a third year.
We need
yeah.
Arthur.
Because also Andy, that came from his soul. Like I could feel it. He was like,
100%.
finally,
Yeah.
I need to like enlighten these peasants
Yeah, 100%.
about NBA Jam and its place in history.
Oh, there's so many under appreciated teams in those games too that you can play with. Like weirdly, like Cleveland is kind of good to play with. Like Brad.
Who the hell's on
Carney and,
Cleveland?
like, yeah, it's I don't even know half the guys' names when on those like weirdo teams. But anyways, also I went down a rabbit hole and there is if for all of you emulator fans out there, if you like to play like emulator games on your computer, there is a NBA Jam with current rosters that you can download, and it's just the old version of NBA Jam, but just with updated rosters. So
Okay.
look it up.
Yeah.
Look it up. It looks
Okay.
fun. We can actually put this to a test. What we're talking about right now.
So my guy, or my team that I feel like I'm stuck between the Bucks and the Sixers. I feel like Embiid's going to be able to push people, better than anybody else.
But who's the second person? Is it Maxi or is George?
It's Maxi. Oh, wait a
Okay.
second, it's George now. Oh my God, it's George. That feels even better because George is money from three. He's big. But originally it was Maxi because he was so fast.
Yeah.
Maxi would definitely have to be like one of the fastest players in the game.
Right.
But a big thing is like Embiid, because Embiid can kind of shoot the 3-2.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, if they do an updated version, like Embiid could be like falling on guys, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He could,
Now,
like,
but we
They would have
eliminated
injuries in the
you
game, and
eliminated-
you'd only ever get to play half a game with them.
Yeah, you eliminated Jokic for his lack of speed. You have to. Embiid also has zero speed in that respect. So if it's also Andy as the expert on NBA Jam, is there a mental aspect to the game where like if a player just doesn't feel like playing, like Embiid sometimes does?
yeah,
Is that a thing? Because here's the
that
thing:
is-
I chose Giannis because Giannis is ready to go at all times.
Giannis,
There's no question.
Okay.
Giannis is
You've
a
got-
cycle, and I love it. Like,
You've absolutely picked the best team. It's
Yeah.
easily the Bucks. That combo is like two just absolutely elite guys
Yeah.
who have the NBA Jam stats. Like
Yeah.
they would definitely be the best in those.
Yeah, like
in those
Embiid, like I feel like Embiid is going to like even within the game, the video game, is going to blame whoever is playing with the Sixers. He's going to be like, no, it's because Freddie's not good at video games. That's why we're losing.
He blames the player at halftime, and you have to switch him out. Like,
Yeah, you have to switch him out. Yeah, you have to switch him out. So, I mean, I respect you guys for having tried, but it's the Bucks.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
I might concede a little bit. Like I think a Jamal Murray, Jokic, like that might give
that would
the
be a
Bucks-
money shooting team.
Yeah,
Like
would give-
both
that would
those
give
guys
them-
would
down
just be
to shooting,
disgusting
truly.
from three.
yeah.
And then
That might give me a run for my money.
I feel like Tatum KP could be something.
Booker
Okay.
and KD could be good too.
Who?
You're missing some of the strength on that.
So I was gonna
one,
say
but-
like the only other team that I thought about was Phoenix. Yes, like Booker, KD, especially having watched how they played in the Olympics. I feel like that could be a very dangerous two-man. Because the thing is, without a doubt, right now, KD might be the best scorer in the league.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Like if you wanted me to put a guy who's the ball will leave his hands to make a bucket, his volume, his percentages are off the charts.
yeah.
But at the same time, they're mid-range shots.
and he's like kind of like a health guy too, a little bit at this
Yeah.
point. But yeah, for sure. If it's like the classic Bill Simmons, like aliens are on the planet, and everything's at stake. Who do you want taking the last shot? It's KD.
KD, without a doubt. That being said, in another world too, Ant And Carl Anthony might also be a decent one.
Yeah.
Because
Ant-Man and Cat would
Yeah,
actually
because
be really
but
good.
the only
Yeah.
but the only problem is Ant is the dunk on this one, and Cat is the shooter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
A little bit of a flip.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
decent strength from Ant-Man, I'd say.
Just before we move on, little fun sort of. I'm gonna quiz Andy on the spot here, and this would just be a fun throwback. Andy, but by the way, Cleveland, the Cleveland team. I was just looking at it. I can't believe they were actually good. So they're ranked 20th. It's Mark Price and Brad Daugherty.
Brad Daugherty, yeah. They were pretty good because they could shoot.
Yeah, I guess so.
And they had good speed. Mark Price was really fast in the game, which was important for your little guy. You need to be pretty fast.
Well, I mean, Mark Price was a bucket.
Yeah.
People obviously don't care about him because he was in Jordan's era, and
Right.
Yeah.
he just got smoked. But can you guess, Andy, the number one ranked team in? This is just like a fan TSN ranking. The number one ranked team in the original NBA Jam. I'll give you a clue.
Can I?
Wait.
Malone and Stockton is number 2, so
Okay.
it's not them. So yeah.
So as
not
he's
Malone.
thinking,
It's not
as he's thinking, can I just sneak in and just give him time to think,
Yeah.
or blow it if I give the right answer?
Honestly, I'm down with whatever you do. Go for it.
Because I have a guess. It's one guess.
Idea. I have a good idea.
And my guess. Can I give my guess?
Please.
You can give your guess. I'll tell you.
I'm gonna guess Sean Kemp and
Gary Payton.
Very close. But by the way, they have Sean Kemp and Benoit Benjamin.
That's hilarious.
Who the fuck's Benoit Benjamin?
That might so there's two like versions of NBA Jam that we all remember. There's like the arcade version, and then there's like the home console version, which sometimes is different, sometimes is the same depending on the console. And then there's the TE version, the tournament edition, which is like an updated, better version for consoles.
Right.
Anyways,
Seattle's
that's probably
number 3.
from the original, which is a bit of a clue also because now I know that the teams are a bit different.
I thought
Although
maybe
I will say
it
this,
was Gary Price. They
Seattle
didn't give him the rights or something like that.
Seattle wasn't that good actually because Kemp was good all around, but Gary Payton didn't have much of a shot, like a 3-point shot in that game.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't really that good. He was good at steals, but steals aren't really a thing.
And obviously Benoit Benjamin,
so if it's the
largely
original,
unknown.
If it's the original, it's either Barkley's in the original, and I think it was Barkley and Dan Marley with a combo, which was really good.
They're number 4.
Oh wow.
Okay, they were number 4. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it's them. I think it's kind of tough. It could be.
I can give you like a clue,
or it could be the Pacers, and I think because it was Pippen and B.J. Armstrong, and I think Horace Grant was the Bulls players, and for Indiana it was Reggie and I want to say like
yeah, it
Rick
was
Smits
Pippen and Grant, 15th ranked.
15th. That's way too low. They were really good. Whoever made this list is insane. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna say it's the Pacers. It's got to be like Miller and Rick Smits or something.
Correct, Pacers. It's Miller and Detlef Schrempf. So to your point,
Wow.
It's shooting. It's shooting.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I remember Reggie's unstoppable. Reggie's just money from 3. Like
Can you guess the worst team? Either of you guys.
The worst team. You know who's sneakily good in the? Oh, I think is it Dallas?
No.
I
Dallas
don't
are
even
bad.
know who was playing for Dallas at that time.
I don't know either.
Darick Harper and Mike Luzolino. Luzolino.
Yikes.
That's pretty rough. But...
I remember the Mavs were always the first team you face when you start a new tournament.
Right.
So
so who are they playing for? The Mavs?
What's that?
Who are they?
Those guys are playing for the Mavs.
Yeah. So and you're saying, Andy, it's like Punch Out. It's like
yes,
they're playing Punch
they were
Out.
the glass
The
show.
first
Yeah.
team that gets dusted.
Yes. Okay. If it's not the Mavs, then I don't know. Maybe it's the Nets or something.
It is the Bucks, Blue Edwards and Brad Lowhouse.
I mean, that tells you everything. I've never heard either of those two names.
Blue Edwards. That sounds like an AI basketball player.
Yeah,
That's tough.
Like
Blue Edwards.
Okay,
that sounds like a
Farther of Anthony Edwards, by the way. That's
yeah, Blue Edwards.
Edwards. Yeah. It's a
Oh,
family
Blue
tribute.
Balls Edwards.
Yeah.
Okay, let's.
I'm kind of surprised actually it's not the Clippers because they were always bad back then. Like they were.
They're 26. Ron Harper, Danny Manning.
Okay.
Ron Harper
So
and
they're
Danny Manning.
bad.
Okay.
But the
All right.
27th was the worst you could be in this.
All right.
I was
okay.
way off. I thought it was Penny and Shaq or Clyde and. But I also don't know
Is
what
Shaq
the
in
dates
NBA
were.
Jam? I don't remember. I feel like he
Not
was
in
in the
the original, I
arcade
don't
version
think.
only.
Because that would be a cheat code right there.
Yeah, Penny and Shaq
So when
was
wa-
really good.
When was the first one released? Which year?
90.
Yeah, Shaq and Scott Skiles. They're number 8.
Okay.
Yeah. I think in the version I played, Shaq wasn't in it, so Orlando wasn't that good. He had like Nicky Anderson and like Scotty Skiles and someone else. I can't remember. Anyways, yeah, I think
Scott
it's
Skiles,
91 or
30th game.
92 it came out.
91, 92. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
Anyways,
next topic.
anyone wants to talk some NBA Jam? Call me
Yeah.
up. You know, we
Yeah.
can go.
I opened up Andy's soul here.
You sure did. You sure did.
Here's my soul. Nerdy shit like this. If you guys could change an award, a current award in the NBA, like, exec of the year or most improved or sixth man or whatever, what would you change and how would you change it to make it better? Arthur, I'm going to go with you first.
I don't know if it's to make it better, but I've always found most improved to be silly
Yeah.
because it's just about points. Like you scored 5 points, you averaged 5 points last season, you averaged 15 this season, you're the most improved player, but that doesn't necessarily mean you are because it just means your role has changed on the team.
Right.
And so either they should just call it who has the biggest point differential from last year to this year.
Yeah.
And then that should be the award. Like but to actually, I don't know if you can make it better, but actually look at how a team has done with the role change of someone. Like, because sometimes when most improved happens, like there actually has been an improvement on how the team has done. And that for me is like when it's justified. But a lot of the times, just like, no, someone got traded, your role changed, your points went up, and you're the most improved, but the team didn't really change. The team either still sucks or was stuck in whatever sort of level that it was at, where it's like, I feel like most improved should take into account what the entire team has done around you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it's still a team sport. And I know how MVP and all these things are chosen. I also kind of crazy, but I feel like most improved has never, because if you look back on the history of most improved, like there's never a follow through. Right? I think there's only once where someone was actually eligible for most improved 2 years in a row.
Oh.
Yeah, I agree. And it like I actually thought about this question because of that award, because there's some buzz out there for people being like Wembanyama is going to be the most improved player next year, and it's like, what? Like it's his second year. And then also this award's weird because it's like there's all these like unwritten faux pas. It's like it can't be sophomore and it can't be the third year because third year everyone makes a jump, and it's like there's this. It's like, what is the criteria?
Exactly.
And
what is improvement?
Yeah. What is improvement? And to your point, like resulting in team wins. Like I think like things like MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, those seem to be heavily factored in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so, I think they're so scrutinized that like they get kind of like really, people chomp away at them.
Right.
But yeah. To your point, I think that like that's what. Like most improved is kind of like, wait, what actually?
But this is also where my frustration comes in because it's very clear that MVP is also kind of best offensive player.
Yes.
Which I don't think it should be. If they're going to do a defensive player of the year, then they should do an offensive player of the year.
I've always said
MVP.
this.
Yes.
Totally agree.
Because there's plenty of people who just play defense. Like if we're going to look at a guy like Draymond Green who's crying whether, did I get, or Rudy Gobert, or whatever, it's like, but in the same way, we have people who are just buckets.
Mm-hmm.
And they should get that accolade just as much. And instead of wrapping them around with MVP, because I feel like MVP should be more comprehensive. And then that will kill a lot of arguments. Should it be Embiid? Should it be Jokic? Should it be this? Should it be this guy? Like,
also, if someone is like, because like we already have the scoring title.
Yeah.
So the scoring title should be like, that's an award. Or
Exactly.
like, you know, maybe you
Yeah,
factor in
yeah.
assists as well. Like
Yeah.
if you're doing the Luka thing, right, where you can
Yeah.
be like, okay, well, you know, Luka had 33 points and like
15.
Embiid had 35, but
Yeah.
Luka had like 11 assists. So it's like he was more of an offensive hub than
Yeah.
Embiid. It's like that's fine.
Because assisting is also good offense, basically.
Mhm.
You're finding your people to make the buckets. So yes,
And
I
that's-
agree with you. Like that should be.
Yeah, and that's the key, I think, to a good award is you need some level of like subjectiveness to it. It can't just be like the most boring awards, like the scoring title in the NBA isn't like an award, right? Because there's no like it just is whoever it is, right? There's no debate. It's like in hockey they have like the Rocket Richard trophies for like whoever scores the most goals, which is great. But who cares? It's just the guy who scored the most goals. We all know it. You know, when before the playoffs start, we just know who's going to win it. So like. So offensive player of the year is still a great award though, because it does take a couple like different factors, into play there. So I love that. I think that's
Especially in this day and age of advanced analytics.
Yes, exactly. You
where you're calculating every single thing that a player does.
Yeah. True shooting percentage. Like now we can look at a bunch of stuff and be like, he's the best for this reason. He's the best for this reason. I mean, that's the MVP conversation right now. But like you said, it'd be great to cut those in two, and then just have an overall MVP still, which now kind of takes on a new level of what are we talking about?
Exactly.
Which is cool.
What's yours, Andy?
So you mentioned it, but you mentioned the executive award, like best executive.
Okay, I was hoping someone would go for this.
Yeah, well, because like who cares
True.
about the best executive?
It's also very opaque. It's like he did a bunch of stuff in the summer, or when did we start here? Like
some of your players panned out for you, like obviously, like Jerry West won this award a bunch of times. He could spot talent. He was really great at it. But then like a bunch of other guys have like one good year, and they're like, well, I'm not in for giving the suits anything. Okay, the suits get the suits get money. Okay, the suits get money. They get to like live their lives like that, and it's different for everybody else. So take that away, and instead we go around. We have a team of it's like the MVP voting, but it's like a smaller group. It's like a bunch of like, let's say, designated people. They go around to each arena, and they give out the award for best in arena experience. It's given to like the fan base, and like the people who work in the stadium.
Right.
We give it that, like those are like the recipients of that award, and I don't want to see you handing it to some manager being like, congratulations, your staff is great. No, it's an on-court presentation, and it goes out to the fans, and then everybody gets something, like everyone gets a jersey or something.
Just drunkest fan gets it.
Yeah, drunkest fan.
They pick out the drunkest fan, and they get it.
It's like they got to try and
wait. I have to ask for some
like
clarification. So these people are going around every arena. It's the same group of people.
Yeah. Well, I
They
mean,
go
like
to every arena.
MVP voting.
They go to every arena throughout the season. But are they incognito? Or does everyone know?
Because
everyone.
I don't think people know who they are. I
Can
think
you,
it's the Blue Man Group,
because I was
dressed as the blue.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, is it like the hotels, like the certification of hotels, where like it's some random person who shows up?
Yeah.
Oh, secret shopper style.
Yeah, the secret shopper.
Yeah.
And then you kind of rate, what the experience was like.
I
So
love that. They're ordering a hot dog and they're like,
yeah.
I mean, the easy thing to say is that it's like it's a group of sports writers or something,
Right?
Because they travel so much already. And
no. It should also be drunk fans.
But that's not. Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want sports writers to do it because they're already compromised anyways.
The guys who go and do this have to party as well.
Yes.
I mean, they gotta let loose at these places.
Yeah.
So it's like, why had the best party is the award.
This is good. And you know what? Sorry, go ahead, Arthur.
No, I was going to say, here's my only drawback on this is if it's best in arena experience, yes, that's fine. But the city is also going to have a big impact on this rating. Because if we're talking about party animals, like, and I like this for Toronto, because like wherever they go after the game, they're going to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
But that's going to color into the award as well, because they're going to be like, hey guys, so why is Toronto the best in arena? And you're like, okay. let's be honest, it might not have been just in the arena. We also went out after, and Zanzibar was a good time. Like that's
We also went to comedy bar after.
Yeah, we went to comedy bar. We had a good time. Yeah.
I mean,
a couple of us got into
called...
improv. Like we're good. Like,
exactly.
So Catch 23, and I got to be in Pillars. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. I mean, it is called the in-arena experience, so we would ask that they judge only in-arena experience.
Yeah, so they step outside of the
though.
They step outside of the arena.
Is a big part
paddy
of it.
wagon.
I was about to say, they can't.
Like you can't let them experience
because like in Salt Lake, all you have is the in-arena experience in Salt Lake City. Like that's it. That's all you have.
Yeah.
Or even like I went to a playoff game in Oklahoma City, and I was like, oh, like this is it. It's the game. Because there's nothing else happening in the city.
I went to a hockey game in Phoenix, and it was like I was at it's like I was at an AMC movie theater and like the 4 or 5 restaurants around it, and that was it.
Yeah.
So it's like I could go to like Shoeless Joe's or Applebee's, and that's like, but people were partying there.
that Applebee's was fucked.
Yeah.
Applebee's was rock.
Yeah.
People were fucking in that Applebee's.
As you do.
Here's also I want to add this. I think this should be like on a Monday night. Like I really, you really want to test the in-arena experience.
Right.
No Fridays, no Saturdays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I want to really test this out. Like this is a Monday night.
Yeah. But again, you have to keep that a secret because there's not that many Monday night games for every team. So for every Monday night, they'll kind of expect that.
Yeah.
The NBA guys
should
are
judge
showing
on
up.
their best. I think you should go on a Saturday night.
I want their worst. I want an empty Charlotte arena. You know what I mean? Like I want.
Charlotte's already got an uphill battle. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Come on.
So mine. So I was dancing with the executive, but I think 6-man, and it's almost identical to Arthur's. It's a point jump, like because. I like so much of the time it's been like this is like Lou Williams, or like Jamal Crawford, and it's not that those players aren't incredible. It's that like guys like Iguodala who like put the Warriors into another gear. For whatever reason, we're like never a part of this conversation, and it's like, wait, like is this about winning or is this just like about
scoring?
You average 12 points off the bench, or you average like 15 points off the bench. And then it's also another award where it's like, oh, well, you played 45 games as a starter. And it's like that, like, I don't know what the answer there is, but like from a criteria perspective, it's weird. Like, I think like this year, for instance, like Hartenstein for New York, like, I don't know if he played enough games off the bench, but he was like such a guy where he'd come in and he'd bang. And it's like, I'm sure he wasn't the biggest point guy off the bench, but he really made a huge impact. Like, know, so that's one of those awards where it's like whatever it is,
it's like a mini scoring title as well.
It's like a mini scoring title. Yeah, exactly.
You scored the most points coming off the bench, which is actually interesting because 6th man means a lot of different things to different teams. Because for some teams, the people coming off the bench are not necessarily in there to score. They're there to shut the other team down and give your stars a breather. Like,
exactly.
We need our guys we just need our guys to get a bit of rest, and we don't want we know the scoring is going to drop off, but the other team is not going to score either.
Mm-hmm.
So that our guy can have 2-3 minutes on the bench and come back in. So it's like the 6th man who scores might be the most celebrated, but not necessarily the biggest impact on the overall team.
Here. Okay, let's jump to some Raptors here, and we've been here right with Scotty. Like last year, I think it will officially go down as like the actual transition year, but it's been coming, and we had a short time with him, IQ, and RJ, and Fertile and Gary or whatever, and then back-to-back finger injuries, and that was sort of the season. So I think this is a year narratively that people are really gonna like even the more casual Raptor fans are gonna come in and like forget about the noise of like where you think the team should have went or if you think we should have been like earlier on this Scotty era, whatever. That's like that's irrelevant. Like this year is going to be the Scotty year, where even like from a national media perspective, I think people are really there's going to be some very set in stone opinions about him, fair or not. He's going to get a lot of press conferences. He's going to be the face of the franchise. So if he cracks, like all that stuff, like the absolute, like it's his time. It's the Scotty show. So with that said, Arthur, what is what's like your most like what's the best thing about the most like optimistic thing for you, like that gives you the most confidence with this Scotty era, and then what also scares you with the Scotty era, like building around him and him being the guy?
I think what the stuff that gives me a lot of encouragement is Scotty himself. Like I've seen a lot of improvement in his basketball, but I've also seen someone who's enjoying himself. And for me now, having been a Raptors fan for as long as I have and seen like a lot of the times when we had our guy not enjoying himself was kind of the worst parts of being a fan of the franchise. Like when Chris Bosh was miserable right before he left, it was like one of those things of like, this guy's really good, but he's miserable here for whatever reason. Yeah. It could be personal, it could be professional, it could be the organization, it could be family, whatever it was. And
he's tired of losing. And
but part of the appeal of why I think Kyle became Mr. Raptor, whatever you want to call it, like the sort of beloved, is like he looked like he was enjoying his basketball and he was enjoying playing for the Raptors. And I think Scotty is in the same way. And I think Pascal was the same way too, where it's like it hurts to watch them leave because these are people who actually enjoy playing for the franchise. And Scotty is in that era where it's like he's young, he has options, and he's a player who easily could have moved, even with the rookie and all that stuff and all the assurances you have in the CBA for like keeping your really good rookies. And you look at his attitude. For me is going to be the biggest thing, because like skill set is there, but if you're going to be the face of the franchise, you have to be the guy who's like the ambassador for the team. And his attitude for me is what gives me the most hope. And the fact that he's kept improving every single offseason. Now, again, I haven't seen anything yet, but I'm pretty sure the injuries hindered a lot of what he was trying to do this season. So I'm excited to see what comes out on the other side. The other thing that gives me hope is that they're building with other young people. And I think we've seen in the NBA lately, building with the same group of people together is actually healthier than just sort of bringing in a bunch of old people who are on their way out and just sort of trying to like mishmash a team up the way the Clippers did and be like, yeah, let's try and like rig the system and just, But if you actually build the way I think like OKC has done, Denver to a point where it's like, no, we just bring up a bunch of young guys together and try and make a team out of it. That's the stuff that gives me hope. The thing that gives me pause is free agency and the fact that we haven't made a splash since we brought Kawhi. That's the stuff that worries me. Is the free agent market in general is terrible these days. No one's really casting sort of that dice anymore, being like, oh, I'll see where the money is. Is that it feels like deals are done before the execs even get on the phone.
Well, and Kawhi was a trade, but it still felt like you're bringing him over, and it's like it was an electric trade. Like it was like a major improvement trade, and that's interesting. You bring up like free agency, because I feel like it sort of taps into this idea of like the Raptors. Like it's like we have to pull a rabbit out of a hat to be relevant, and like, yeah, can that be done again? And then how does that affect the Scotty era?
Right. And again, I don't think we need to make a big free agency splash. It will also depend on the development of Quickly and Scotty. Like we've put all our eggs in that one basket.
Yeah, we sure have. I think people are realizing, I forget who published it, but oh God, but why am I blanking out? His John Hollinger was sort of talking about how, analyzing and like talking about quickly and like, hey, the Raptors really put a ton into this guy, and like, I think he described like that the Raptors reached a bit on Scotty, and I think everyone was like, whoa, we didn't reach on Scotty. Like that's all good. That's just like what was supposed to happen. But I think everyone can kind of agree that it's like this IQ thing is like he was a restricted free agent.
Yep.
If we wanted to be tough with him and just be like, go get an offer and we'll match it.
Yeah,
we could have done that, but we didn't. We were like,
no.
we're giving you like
we're in
Jalen Brunson money.
Yep.
And like you were his supporting cast before we traded for you. So it's like the IQ thing is really like a huge bet. I mean, yeah, I'll go throw to you, Andy, but like I just to echo your points, like my main I'll bring up the thing that like scares me a little bit, but the main thing that I like is also Scotty himself. Like it's the personality. Yep. And I think he doesn't see a limit on himself yet. And to me, that's clear.
Yep.
Like he also is like, I'm the guy. And, even like, and I'm like, Pascal's like my favorite player. And he's not like my favorite player. He is my favorite player. Right. And I think part of the reason I love Pascal is because he was like, I can be anything you want me to be. Like, I'm just so obsessed with winning. And I'm like, I can be the number 2. I'll try to be the number 1. Right. He's just like the perfect sort of Swiss Army knife, like team guy. Scotty brings something different. Scotty brings this. Yeah, I mean, people compared him to Magic for a reason. And Magic Johnson, early in Scotty's career, he was like, this is a guy who most reminds me of me, which is crazy. And like, anyone, even if you just watch Winning Time, but if Magic Johnson, he's like this like lovable guy, and like everyone, Mr. Charmer or whatever. And it's like things go sour, and he's like, trade this guy, trade that guy, fire that coach. And Magic Johnson's like, he came onto Kareem's team and he's like, fuck you, my team.
Yeah.
And it's like, but he's also the most charming guy. And like, and I think Scotty has that. Like, I'm just like I'm so like, I'm charming and I'm electric and I'm so competitive. And it's like, I can't envision a scenario where I'm not the guy, which to me is pretty exciting to like have a team where your main guy is that confident.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
confidence up to even if you're losing in 2K and you look like you're about to whip your controller. I mean, we all know I saw that firsthand. So,
Yep.
We saw that.
I'm glad you brought that up 2 weeks in a row, by the way.
Yeah, I sure have, and I will continue to do so. Honestly, you guys have pretty much said the stuff I was going to mention. Like, obviously, Scotty can he's a bit of a Swiss Army knife himself, like you were talking about Pascal there. Like, he can do a lot of things and do them really well, and he can support, and he can also lead the charge. He can do a lot of stuff. So, like, what better person can you have to build around than that? Truly, right? I could go on for positives. Truly, I love Scotty. I'm so stoked that he's the guy we have. I'm so stoked that like we get to watch him develop, and because it's so exciting and fun, and he's great. And like you said, his personality is killer. He's amazing. The only thing that I think that like makes me a little worried, and it's not even about Scotty. I think Scotty is good, and he's going to have a great career, and I think he's going to continue to he's going to be a star in the league. There's no question. It's this thing of like, everyone's always talking about it, and Toronto fans are really defensive about it. And is he a number 1 guy or is he a number 2 guy? Right. This is what we've heard this so much, and basically nobody in the media in the States thinks Scotty's the number 1 guy.
Right.
And I'll give them the benefit of the doubt here. They don't get to watch him as much as we do. So I think that's true. That's just been true for Raptors players throughout history, right?
Yes.
They truly, like, we are defensive about it, no question about it, but they do see us way less than basically every other team, and so they've always kind of underestimated the Raptors and the Raptors star players. So I think that's what's happening with Scotty a bit, but I do think there is some that concern's not out of nowhere, completely unfounded. You know what I mean? Like, does Scotty
Right.
look like he's going to be a top 5 guy in the league and like that type of thing? I'm not sure. I'm not saying no, but like it's not like a thing of like I expect this guy to be, the next Kevin Durant or
Right.
LeBron James. Yeah, that sort of echelon of player. But you don't it doesn't have to be that. It's about how the team is built around, like Arthur, you were saying, like coming up with these guys, coming up, similar age guys, all playing together. I mean, look at the Celtics, right? Like the Celtics, like we can't decide whether or not, like, like I swear, like if you took this team and like just went 2 or 3 years ago, which is basically what they were, everyone's like, yeah, they're good, but they're not like
Right.
championship good. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And now this year they're incredible and they win the championship. So like, uh, it just
And
goes to
people are
show you
still
that
like,
like
who's the number one player on that
yeah,
team?
exactly. Oh, was
Yeah.
Tatum a number one guy? Is he worthy? Oh, he was sitting on the bench at the Olympics, like
Yeah.
all this shit. But like he's very good. Jason Tatum's very good. Jaylen Brown's very good. They're all very good. They came together. They played together for a long time. They had a style. They had a game plan. They were really good. They executed it, and they're a great team. There's no reason Toronto can't do that. And like to
Right.
be um to talk about like free agency and stuff, Kawhi was a trade that felt like that because it was a rental player basically. So that's why to me it always felt like a free agent signing more than anything else. But like we also got Marcus Gasol in a trade, that year, and moves were made and players came here and were happy. So
Right.
like it's not to say that we can't get those guys. Free agency just might not be the most efficient route for us. And
Yeah.
that's true for other teams in the league as well,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're not the only
before
ones.
right, exactly. Like before Giannis was there, the Bucks weren't signing any free agents. Like
Right.
the Timberwolves, they had KG and they were getting a couple guys when KG was there, but like they've had a hell of a time since then. Coming up to now, finally they're back in it again. Where like players want to play there, they want to play with Cat, they want to play with Edwards. So I think it's just about building that team. Arthur, I think you nailed it on the head. It's like Scotty's a great piece to build around, great guy to build around, great centerpiece for it. It's just where does he slot in? Is he going to be number one, number two? Can that
Right.
affect the team? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. That's my own.
And I mean, those were always legitimate. And I'm sorry, Freddie, I know you haven't, but like the those are legitimate concerns for me because I guess when we talk about number one guy, a lot of the times what we mean, at least for me personally, is in those tight situations.
Yeah.
Do you have a guy that's going to confuse the defense enough, go get you the bucket, create those opportunities for you to come out of it? It's not necessarily who do I want taking that last shot. I actually want someone who's going to prevent us from getting to a point where we need the last shot. Where it's like, if you look at the way Jokic took over games, sometimes just be like, I'm just going to go score 10 straight points just to level us out. Everyone's panicking. We're the other team has
Yeah.
gone on a run. I'm just going to go real quick, score 10 points, level everyone out, sit back on the bench and be like, okay, guys, let's play. And that's what you want from Scotty. Like I remember those stories when we played Cleveland, when LeBron was still in the East, and he had this bet going with Tristan Thompson about how many times like DeRozan would pump fake. And if you fell for a pump fake, you had to pay $1,000 in the. Did you ever hear that story?
I never heard that.
That's incredible.
During our playoff runs against Cleveland, LeBron and the rest of Cleveland had bets going that if anyone fell for DeRozan's pump fakes, you paid $1,000 to the team, or some sort of like that, some sort of like swear jar or something going on. And I'm like, that immediately shows you we were screwed. If the other
Yeah.
team, your number one guy is sort of like on a betting, because guess what? They're not doing that for Kevin Durant. There's no bet going on about if Kevin Durant scores on you because Kevin Durant scores on everyone. Now, I'm not saying that we have to have a Kevin Durant, but I'm like, that's the number one thing. A guy who goes, Giannis in that finals run against Phoenix, Curry, and the same thing. Like those number one guys where you go, okay, I'm putting the entire team on my back during this third quarter because we need it. And can we ask Scotty to do that? And will he be able to deliver that? Actually, now that I think about it, that would be another thing of like, when Freddie were talking about what the media is going to do, that's going to be a big thing this season.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's going to be a big part of all those tight games that we have where we hand him the ball. It's going to be a referendum on whether he's the number one guy or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not totally dissimilar. I think Scotty, especially last year, like the main focus is like, whoa, the 3-point jump, which just unlocks so much of his game. And it's a very special, rare, incredible development. But I remember when we first got Scotty, like back in the day when, people were still mad we got Suggs, and like so much of the conversation was like, this guy can be special on defense. And, like he's got some Draymond Green in him. He's got some Scottie Pippen in him. And like, I think last year we started seeing like, hold on. This guy's like blocking a block and a half and a steal and a half a game. And like, is just like a disgusting help defender and can really impact the game in so many ways. And I think that's true, but I feel like that requires him to just be like in insane shape. And then also we'll leave him in situations, not dissimilar to like Giannis, where it's like, Giannis is like the guy doing everything, but like during that championship run, it was like Middleton's hitting all the last minute shots. And I think that with that said, I feel like there's going to be a lot of pressure that's like fair and unfair on Scotty, and just how he responds to the pressure, I think is like the thing I'm kind of scared about.
Right.
Because I think in that sense, it's not that he's been like insulated, but like I think his first 3 seasons, he's had guys who are just so comfortable with the media, in Fred VanVleet, in Pascal Siakam, and I think it's like he's just going to be up there day in and day out. And who knows, maybe it's like every game, IQ and RJ, they're going to the podium with him, and they're like, it's like a team. And Darko is really outspoken, so like I think there's a lot of ways to manage that. So
because
like,
I was going to ask, the other part of it too is, where does RJ fit in? And how does he feel about it? About being it's Scotty's team, right? Because RJ's a pretty good player in his own right.
He better like it.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you? And that's a worry, because it's like if he doesn't, then you're having issues in how the chemistry works. And then how does
that's
he
true for the
kind
whole
of,
team. Like
yeah.
if they're like, if Scotty's the guy and you're like, actually, I don't think he is. It's like, well, you might want to get off the team. They're like,
exactly. Yeah. But then what are they seeing in practice? Because that's the thing too. It's like when everyone talked about how Curry didn't win the MVP the first year they won, and how he was like, oh, this player failure because he just didn't hit those miraculous threes in that run, like the first time they won a championship. The team never wavered on who the best player in that team was.
mm-hmm.
Right? Like the Warriors were never like, you know what? Maybe it is Klay. Maybe it is Harrison Barnes. Maybe maybe Iguodala is our lead. Like none
it
of
could
that.
be Barbosa. It could be.
Yeah.
It might be.
It could be. Like they never. Fans, media, whatever. We jumped on him, but you could tell from the team perspective, they're like, no. This is the guy. He might have been missing those shots, but this is the guy. This is the guy we're riding with to the very end, and this guy is going to be our leader. And it's like, if one person, like say RJ, is like, oh, I don't know if this is Scotty's team, then that's ego. Maybe he's like, I'm better than him, whatever. If it's 5-6 guys, something's happening. Mm-hmm. Something's happening. That these guys are like, no, we're not seeing enough from a talent perspective, from a leadership perspective, from something for this guy to be in charge.
And it's like, if that happens, it's like extra bad, because this isn't like a Kobe Shaq situation that would be mounting here. Like we're not talking about, we can't decide which completely elite player is our leader here. It's like, no, we have one guy who's supposed to be the elite player, and then we have another guy who's very good who actually is kind of playing better. So is it him instead? It's like
right.
It's like if Derek Fisher was like, hey, Derek Fisher's playing really well. Maybe it's not Shaq's team. You know?
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
No, that didn't happen. Yeah.
So hopefully
that one's
it's
easy.
not going.
Because also, if you think about so there's RJ obviously, but it's like I remember the Boston teams with Kyrie, because arguably Kyrie was the best player, but they didn't look at him as their leader.
No.
Something was happening where they didn't actually see him and it obviously wasn't a talent thing.
What it was.
Yeah. But it was like it wasn't a talent thing. Like it was one of those things where it's like, we just don't think this guy. Like we're not going
this
to.
This guy thinks the Earth is flat. It's just there's something.
We
up
can't.
with that.
And it's like if
this
you
guy's
look at
got a lot of sage. Like,
and if you look at the way the teams have been constructed, all the championship teams, it's like even like KD. Like I haven't seen people who are willing to run through the wall for KD. Right? People will run through the wall for LeBron.
No, for sure.
People will literally move their families for LeBron. Like it's like,
You know what's-
okay.
You know what's funny? It's like the first time I think I have seen that is this year's Olympic team. It felt like those guys loved KD so much, but it was those other crazy guys who like Steph has that. You're right. LeBron has that. Like it felt like those were the guys who were like, actually, KD's our guy. Like,
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
but it's almost like they have to convince us, and we've all
Yeah.
watched this man play basketball for 20 years.
Yeah, totally.
We know how good he is.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Okay, let's wrap this baby up with I'm obsessed with this like the 30th year Raptors thing, and just like I want like I feel like it's sort of a marketing thing, and I just want a lot of dumb shit to happen. Like it's like I don't actually care about it, so I'm indulging myself where I'm like I hope a bunch of really I like I watch a lot of NBA League Pass. And one of my favorite NBA League Pass things is like, there's no commercials, right? So they'll just like the camera will just be panning around. You see a lot of weird entertainment. You see a lot of like bad dance crews. Like you just see a bunch of failed bits. I love a failed bit.
Love it.
So, So here's where I'm coming from this one. What obscure Raptor do you want to see celebrated? Like this is, again, I'm talking Monday night, right?
Okay.
Like ain't no Antonio Davis.
Yeah.
This isn't like this is a guy where you're like, oh yeah, or like whatever. It could be a famous guy, but who's the like I can't believe this is happening. But we're celebrating this guy. He was a member of the franchise. There's like only 288 players, so it's like they might even have to do some like we got to do these 5 guys on one night or whatever. Like.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, let's get this going. Like,
I think they really, by the way, Freddie, I really think they should do this. Like, I think that much like Vince, when in his big comeback about how like we all hated Vince for a while, and then they played us,
and some people still do.
Of course, and rightfully so. But they played us one highlight package, and we were like, "We're back, baby! We love Vince!" Like, they should do that with like a bunch of old guys. They should do it with friggin' all of them. Like, I'm gonna
jump in
here. Yeah. And I'm gonna say the number one player that me and my friends, when we were watching the Raptors back in 2006 or something, he was the number one guy we were dogging on all the time. He was terrible. He is a terrible draft pick. But you bring him back now, show me a highlight package. We're all going to be cheering him. I'll get a jersey. Hafa Arujo. Get him back in here.
Okay.
Raphael.
Yeah.
I think that would be funny because like some fans would be pissed and other fans would be like, who is this guy? And we drafted him. It's like 7th. Like, that's great.
Was he Brazilian? No.
I think
I think so.
Actually.
Yeah.
The fact that Andy doesn't know says it all.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, man. Like we have a long history with Brazilian players. First of all,
I was about to say because I have one. I mean, I couldn't settle on one. You speaking of like the NBA Jam like rabbit hole that Andy went down. I went down a rabbit hole of Raptors players because some I forget, and then some I'm like, have you guys heard of a player called Hakeem Olajuwon?
Oh my God! I was gonna do Elijah. I just looked 61 games.
Yeah.
He played a lot of minutes.
He played a season for us. Yeah.
So you're talking about obscure players. At that point in his career, he would have been an obscure player. No, I went. There's another Brazilian who I think should be celebrated because he started a trend that also ended very quickly, which was his 2 years away from 2 years away. Yes. And that is Bruno Caboclo. Like we have to bring him back. He
gave us a G League team.
Yeah.
Like we got him and then Masai was like, shit, we need a place to develop guys that aren't ready.
Against
like,
good players.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he he made changes to the whole Raptors organization, and I think we don't give enough credit for that. And I saw him play for the Brazilian team, and I was like absolutely pumped.
He
I was
killed
so
it this
pumped.
Olympics.
Yeah,
He was
yeah,
pretty
he was
good
great.
at this Olympics. Yeah.
He was great.
Yeah.
So that was like my number 3 choice.
Bruno's great.
Yeah.
Okay, let me throw in just a couple quick hitters here.
Okay.
And I mean like we're cutting a commercial. This is a short celebration. Give me Gravis Vasquez shimmy.
That's hilarious.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
Wow,
the whole crowd's not even aware.
Wow.
You know what I mean? The whole crowd, like you say his name quick, people are like, they're getting beers or whatever, and you just like Gravis Vasquez, and people are like, what? He does a shimmy, he's off.
Yeah.
Like it's real fast. Like, and then this is a guy that I feel like a lot of hardcores will know. But back when there wasn't a lot of 3-point shooting in the league, the Raptors had this weird thing going where they had hit at least 1 3 for some crazy amount of games, like 200 and some odd games, whatever. And this is just like a meaningless season. Nothing's going on. But Darick Martin, me and my brothers used to call him Darick Cheeseburger Martin. I don't know why why we threw in the cheeseburger.
I have some ideas.
What a killer nickname.
Yeah,
it's
Darick,
also a massive bird.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's funny because he's an athlete and he would just kick the shit out of all of us.
Yeah.
But like we called him Darick Cheeseburger Martin, and he is like okay, the fans. It was like back in the day with like 100 points is pizza, right? So it's like a meaningless game. He's holding on to the ball.
Yeah.
He fucking launches a 3. We hadn't hit a 3 all game, and he launches a 3, gets pizza for the fans, extends the streak. Cheeseburger lives on, and yeah. So I mean, throw some love
to the
to
criteria of your question. That is obscure. I don't even know.
And he also he looks like a regular man.
Yeah.
Like
I don't remember him.
He looks like his nickname could be Cheeseburger.
Yeah. Google image Darick Martin, and there's a bit of a car salesman vibe. Like, you're not exactly sure he was in the NBA.
God.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if this guy counts as obscure, but give me a bobblehead night, Chris Humphries.
Oh, that's good stuff. Yo,
Chris
honestly,
Humphries
there better be
bobblehead
some
night.
bobbleheads, by the way.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, these are bobblehead giveaways.
Humphries for sure.
Yeah.
Humphries and like Tyler Hansbrough same night.
Yeah.
The double
That's
bobblehead
hilarious.
Bash Brothers.
That
like,
is so funny.
Humphries, and for some reason he's a duo with Matt Bonner in my mind.
I was about to say Matt Bonner should be added to the.
Yeah, Bonner's in there. Yeah.
I want a Bismack Biyombo night. Like fans, like Bismack, and he deserves a wrestling entrance. It's like I was
about to say, like Bismack deserves a whole like the in between quarters or something. Like he needs. He
was
time.
electric, man. Like
he was the energy guy.
And like talk about like getting the whole LeBronto era, right? Where LeBron had that famous quote where he's like, "I've been tested," and we were like. We had just tied up Cleveland in the conference finals 2-2. And, he was interviewed. He's like, I've experienced adversity, and like, this is not that, which is just like, fuck, this guy doesn't respect us. Like, and then, but before that series started, they were like, are you afraid of like LeBron James, to like most of the team? And everyone was like, oh, whatever. And like, they could tell they were kind of afraid, but like Bismack out of nowhere was like, I grew up with Lions. I'm not afraid of LeBron James, which is like, to me, is like an all-time quote.
Yeah,
that's sick. I thought you were gonna say he was like
complete lie too, but okay.
I know. I'm like, that may or may not be at all true.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
I thought you were gonna say like they asked him, "Is he afraid of LeBron James?" And he went, "Yes, I am.
Yes, I am. Yeah,
I'm terrified."
That would be great, but also complete lie. That's just like him playing on the fact that it's like.
This African guy, I'm just gonna.
He's just gonna say I grew up with Lions, and it's like.
But also, I love that because it's like, but the Lions didn't play basketball, Bismack. Like,
exactly. The Lions are.
Yeah, we're not asking if you could win a fight against LeBron. Like, can you play basketball against LeBron, Bismack? Like, stick to the point.
Yeah.
I thought of Bismack, but I don't think it was obscure enough because he was such an energy guy. We've had a decent pretty decent, junkyard dog, like of energy guys who are like great for like the team and like rally everyone. So I had Bruno because he's 2 years away from 2 years away, and we need to have that sort of night. We're 2 years away from celebrating Bruno or whatever, like some sort of theme. Bobblehead night for Chris Humphries, and a night where they just have iced tea for everyone in the stadium because we're celebrating Rasho Nesterovic. Do you remember how we celebrated finally having a center when that man showed up? It had been a drought.
It was a drought.
It was like everyone celebrates Marc Gasol. I'm like, no, the original center that we brought in.
Are we forgetting Jean Tabac here, guys? I mean,
yeah, we are for sure.
What's happening here?
I will. I haven't met a lot of Raptors like in non-stadium sort of like seeing them in the hall or something in context. And Rasho's one of them. I used to work in a loading dock of a storage place. And I walked and I was like, this guy's fucking huge. Look up, it's Rasho. And he must have just had like a young kid, like maybe a toddler or whatever, because he was just like carrying like, those little kid cars.
Yeah.
He must have had like 5 of those in one arm.
What?
Like he just had so much large toddler stuff that he was holding, waiting for a freight elevator. And I was like, I literally saw him. I was like, Rasho? And he's like, I was like, fuck, man, carry on.
You do your thing.
Yeah, do your thing. Take care of your kids.
Are you sure he wasn't working there?
Honestly, he might have been like,
because he's the kind of guy who strikes me like he strikes me like a guy who's like, I kind of get bored. I only practice like 2 hours a day.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna pick up another job just to like pass the time.
Yeah, he's from an era where like center
was this during his playing time
feet.
or after he had retired?
It was during his playing time.
Incredible. I love that. Just running errands.
Any other late entries, guys?
I got to go with my my favorite player from the start of the Raptors franchise, those first couple of years, Walt Williams. Straight from the Kings, get our man Walt Williams with the high socks, the knee socks. Don't forget about those.
Great.
He was our big 3-point guy, and he was my favorite player. First favorite player on my own team in the NBA.
Okay.
So Walt Williams, let's get him in there.
Arthur, any last guys you want to throw in there?
No, those were my guys.
Yeah, I think I got my guys too. The guys I'm curious about, and I think the answer is no. Like Hito Turkoglu, absolutely not.
No, of course not.
Like
unless you just want to troll him.
Arrested.
Yeah, but another guy is I'm sort of like, will they entertain any type of Bargnani anything, or is it just like fans will boo him and it'll be weird.
Yeah.
I have a question on this.
Sure.
Not to elongate the podcast, but here we go. Damon Sotomayor.
Oh,
what's
definitely.
his relationship with the team though?
I think it's cool. Him and Camby, like that's all. Like I think like a couple guys had bad exits, but they're like
But
McGrady, I don't know.
Damon Sotomayor did not like it here at all and wanted to leave from day one, right?
Yeah,
that's like well known. So like those guys, I always have trouble like, hey, good for you. Thanks for coming back, Damon Sotomayor, who hated it here and loved it in Portland. I know you had a better team, but like still,
right.
We're not that different from friggin' Portland, Jesus.
Quincy Acey,
give me some Quincy Acey, man. I love that.
Yeah. No, Bargnani, I would not accept. Mike James, maybe.
Mike James for sure. Bring in Mike. I'd love me some Mike James.
TJ Ford. I don't think TJ is obscure, but that's
TJ Ford would get he'd get a lot of love.
Yeah,
I was so excited about TJ Ford.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the Al Horford foul on TJ. Devastated me.
Yeah.
And he got and then he got like a spinal injury. And then they kept just being like, he's got the tingles. And there was some sort of like weird non-medical thing.
Now that I'm thinking about it, we've been a haven for undersized guards. Like if you think about it, with TJ, with Mike James, with Rafa Alston, with Kyle Lowry, with Fred Muggsy, like we have possibly more teams.
That's a lot.
The really tiny point guards and we loved every one of them.
Oh, you gotta love the little guys,
Also, let's please honor a guy who like for sure could still come back here and is in the league and it's like I was just here. Like, give me a Delano Banton.
Okay.
Like, you give me a Delano Banton. And I just want someone who's like, I'm 24 and like I wanted to resign. Like, what's up? You know, like, you know what I mean? Like,
how do we feel about
Respects.
how do you feel about Terrence Ross?
oh, love it. I love
Yeah, into it.
Give me some
Yeah.
Terrence Ross for sure. 51
Yeah.
points, flight 51. Let's go.
Yeah. Also, someone who did the journeyman thing, and every time he would show up in Toronto, I'd be like, I can't believe he's still in the league. Delon Wright. Delon Wright
Yeah.
is like still.
Delon Wright, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor guy's on the Wizards.
That's a rough.
He'd be another
that's
guy
a
who's
rough
like,
landing.
would you bring me back? I'm on the Wizards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, fuck. All right,
Honestly,
I
I could do a full 3-hour podcast of just saying
Okay,
old.
before we
obscure
close out, who do you
basketball
think would
players
be
and
the
being
top
like,
five? Arena is 4. Who are your top 5 in terms of crowd reaction? We're talking about like your favorite rapper, whatever. But the Raptors in the 30th anniversary, they're bringing back 5 players. Who do you think is the top 5 in? I'm sorry, they bring back all the 288. Who do you think is getting the crowd?
who's getting the biggest pop?
Yeah, remember
say,
the what do they call it? The audience meter where they
Mhm.
measure.
I mean, I think Kyle.
So you think Kyle is 1?
Kyle's.
I
Kyle's
think he's one, but I
Kyle's
think
number
it
one.
could be like there could be some weird thing where there's like a surprise element where it's sort of like Ibaka or something like that, where people just go so. But no, it's probably like I guess it's probably like Lowry, Vince,
I think
DeRozan,
JYD
Kawhi.
gets a big pop, right?
Yeah,
I
JYD
think he's
definitely.
aged out.
You
There
think
might
so?
be a few people who don't think. Who
That's
don't
the
know.
thing.
Was
It's like it's
beloved.
probably
he was like the Wendell Clark of the Raptors. Like
Yeah.
he was the
Because like
blue
Freddie
collar
just mentioned
guy.
it. I think Serge is in top 5.
people go nuts for Serge.
Yeah.
He's also like so good looking and he's so
Yeah.
weird. No one
I
gives
think-
Serge enough credit for being the weirdest.
I
man.
think it would be Kyle, DeMar, Pascal, Serge, and Vince. And Vince only gets in because it's like Vince is like
Yeah,
Vince.
Yeah.
But I don't even think Bosch gets in.
No,
I mean,
Bosh
I
doesn't
think
get in.
I think people go pretty nuts for if it's like if they're calling names out.
Yeah.
If Kawhi steps out, people go pretty crazy.
Do you think more than Vince?
That would be interesting because I think like the fact that he's sort of like it's now like 4 or 5 years since he like left to the Clippers, and it's like there's
It's
an element of
it's a
like
bygone, so I think they'll get. You know what? Yeah, I think because I would be pretty jazzed.
I know
if
I
they
would.
were-
I'm like I don't care what Kawhi. I don't care whatever
Right.
how disinterested he is. It's like he just he did
Because
what
I
he
was
did.
I was debating whether to put because the championship team has a lot of currency
Yeah,
right now.
Of course.
So I feel like Vince is the only one that gets in, and I feel DeMar gets in because we still feel an attachment to DeMar because he never left on his own volition.
Mhm.
So
So I feel like
outside of
that's-
the championship team, you think it's DeMar and Vince?
Outside of the
Vince.
championship team, I think it's DeMar 1. I think it's Vince 2. And then I think it would be someone, again, like it would be someone from like maybe
Mo Pete?
Mo Pete.
I would go
Maybe we could-
nuts
I would go nuts
personally
for
for Amir
Yeah.
Johnson.
Oh, Amir, yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
go fucking crazy for Amir.
Right?
I'd just start doing the zombie walk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
And
the
like,
second week in a row you mentioned that.
yeah, I'll mention the zombie. I'll mention the zombie walk.
Amir Johnson is a big one.
Yeah. No.
Guys,
said,
we
mentioning
got
names is very
we
fun.
got to revisit this and do some sort of like every Raptor everything because I do feel like this needs to be its own thing. But let's wrap it up here. Arthur, what's up? What do you want to let people know? What this is going to be out on the 27th. Where can people catch you? Where can they follow you?
Follow me. My Instagram is Arthur Simeon. That's where you find all the, and my website is arthursimeon.com. Find me. I'm going to be all over the place.
Beautiful. Find Arthur. He's going to be all
Yeah.
over the place.
I'm going to
He's
be
a
all over
gem.
the place. Come see me do stand up.
He's amazing. You'll be lucky if you see him. Well, I mean, like you can find him, but like, like it's a treat.
Like,
Yeah.
Like it's like you can find him, no question. And then you'll be-
Yeah.
I just
you'll
don't,
feel
yeah.
very fortunate.
You'll
to
still
have-
feel, very fortunate. That's the word.
fortunate. Yeah.
Andy, did Yeah. This is gonna come out because last Wednesday, right? 28th, we got some trivia.
Check us out on the 28th. We got trivia happening down at the Smith House there, and keep an eye out on Comedy Bar's website. You see Crush City, if you see Catch 23, I'm frequenting those shows. I'm all over the place as well. You'll be lucky to find me though. I am hiding actively from people.
Good.
So
Good.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, yeah, thanks everyone for listening. It's a long one, but a good one. Subscribe and follow Raptors Republic. Give us some love on YouTube, all that shit. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, pal.